Hello everybody, today's going to be a little bit of a different video for us. Today we're in our home, we're in our office specifically, and we're going to tell you a little bit about what's up and coming for this channel and some of our exciting travel plans.
So we've been planning a trip overseas for about a year now, and we're going to be away for approximately 4 weeks.
Yep.
We're going to begin the first leg of our travel in about a week's time, and we're going to San Francisco,
Yes.
which we've heard is a really cool city. So yeah, in about a week's time, we will catch a flight. It'll be around about 3:30 p.m. New Zealand time.
Yep.
We'll get in at what will feel like midnight, but will in fact be something like 8:30 a.m. San Fran time. So for that day, until we can check into the hotel, we will be slightly zombified, but I think we'll just be caught up in that fun of being able to travel again. And we're staying in the Union Square district, which is quite central. We've heard there's great bars and restaurants. We do hope to get down to Fisherman's Wharf on that first day, just to catch a glimpse of the majestic Golden Gate Bridge.
Yeah,
You've got to do that.
I think seeing the Golden Gate Bridge will be a wonderful thing. I love architecture and design, and I think that'll be really cool to see. I'm also really excited to go to the Castro district and have some drinks and also research some of the LGBTQ plus history of San Francisco, because some really amazing things were achieved there.
And hopefully go to a drag show, right?
Hopefully, yeah.
We looked at some of the theatre that was happening in the time frame that we're there, and I mean, I think some of the shows would be really fun. There's things like Frozen, but wasn't quite our cup of tea, so we'll probably do something more humble in San Fran. We are going to some quite cool shows later on in the trip.
Yeah.
The other thing that I want to see, just because I'm a morbid person, I love true crime and all that kind of stuff, is the island of Alcatraz.
Oh, yes.
Obviously, there's a whole dark mythology around that landmass, little island. Yep. And we know that we can catch a ferry to Sausalito, quite cheap, and catch a glimpse of that.
It goes right by and it costs hardly anything versus the tours. So that might be a money-saving hack, or we might just be being idiots, but we're going to take the ferry.
And maybe at sunset as well. And
hopefully.
Yeah.
They say if you see the sunset and the sunrise, it fixes your jet lag, so we'll see about that. I also want to eat everything in Chinatown and just try all the different food. Sourdough is a signature bread there. I'd love to try how they do it there. Also, seafood chowder, I believe. I'll give it a go. Hopefully it's cold. It's not really quite my scene. Logan will be spewing.
No, I think you should give it a go.
Yeah.
You must, yeah.
I wonder if they do a vegetarian one. Just like parsnips and carrots and
maybe.
such.
I mean, to be honest, that sounds more appetizing to me, so hopefully. And the other thing I want to do as a total 90s kid is visit the Painted Ladies, which is this row of, I think they're Victorian and Edwardian, very colourful houses. They're in the opening credits of Full House.
Yes.
So you got to get that picture for the gram.
I want to go down the snaky road. What's the snaky road?
Lombard Street.
I want to go down Lombard, and that's just because I played too much Midtown Madness as a teenager. Probably as like a 10-year-old. So where are we going next after that?
So then we're going to just casually fly to Paris, which is again, I think, about 10 hours.
Yep.
And we're actually going to be in Paris for Christmas, which in my fantasy, in my head, is going to be super romantic. Mulled wine in the street.
Yep.
Snow.
Ooh la la.
What's that?
Ooh la la.
So no idea if it will be like that, but I've heard Paris is one of those places you must visit. Obviously, it's the most visited place in the world in terms of tourist traffic.
Very expensive.
Yeah.
So we're not staying super long. We're staying for about 5 days, so it should be a nice stay.
We're staying very centrally in the Marais district.
Yep.
Where also Victor Hugo's house is. I'm a super big literature nerd, love Les Mis, so I'd like to sort of check out that attraction.
Yeah, I just want to eat all the croissants and stews and beef bourguignon and just put on some weight, to be honest.
Just all the bread and cheese and goodness.
Wine.
Can't forget wine.
Yep.
So what else are we planning to do? So obviously there are some things you absolutely must do when you're in Paris, otherwise
Tower.
You should be shot. Yeah, Eiffel Tower, Arc de Triomphe. What else have we got here? The Louvre.
The Louvre.
Can't really pass up the Louvre.
You're dragging me into the catacombs.
Oh, yes. Oh my God. I'm really excited. Although I was listening to this podcast, the one that David Farrier does, and he was talking about how a real life cannibal actually does tours in the catacombs.
No, we're not getting him.
That's a bridge too far from even me, I think. What else are we doing? Moulin Rouge. We're going to a show. So that's going to be cool. Oh my God, so expensive. Paris is not the place to go if you want to save money.
No, don't go there if you want to save money. But I feel like if you go to Paris, you've got to go to the Moulin Rouge. So whatever, put it on the credit card. Worry about that later.
Sacrifice firstborn child to go to the Moulin Rouge. Yeah.
It was about $500, so $250 each.
Coincidentally, it's because of the movie Moulin Rouge that we know one of our only French sayings or phrases, which is "Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?"
So I hope you won't be doing too much of that.
We're fully equipped on the language front. We've got this.
That's right. Yeah.
We do need to actually learn a bit more language in the next week.
A little bit more.
Just out of respect, really.
Yeah. No, I think that is something that we do find is important, is to learn some basic phrases before you leave. Just show some, at least, niceties and respect for the places you're going. Even if you don't really know how to communicate beyond that, if you can just be polite and nice, then we can just be stupid Kiwis.
Well, we're watching the White Lotus season 2 at the moment, so our aim is to be the exact opposite of the White Lotus guests. It's a philosophy to live by.
Yeah, totally. After Paris, we are going to head to Chamonix, but we're going to go via
Annecy.
We're going to go via Annecy.
Which is a very cute town near the French Alps. There's a lake. There's some beautiful canals. Has been called sort of a little Venice in France. So we're going to have a nice, maybe, I don't know, picnic lunch there.
Yep.
And then head on to Chamonix, which is this adorable ski village.
Yeah.
Can we ski?
No.
Can we snowboard? No. But we can appreciate lovely scenery.
Yeah, I can actually sit in a gondola quite well and ride all the way to the top.
Top of Mont Blanc.
Yep. We can eat. We can drink. We can sightsee. We can go to the hot pools in the snow. So,
yeah,
I mean, you could call us athletes.
So that's going to be very charming. I think another postcard pretty place. And we'll spend a couple of nights there.
Yeah.
And then leaving Chamonix, we may actually not want to leave. I think it's going to be so
we will and we won't. We did book the cheapest accommodation we could find. So our bed is a couch that turns into a bed.
Yeah.
I think it's someone's converted bedroom that they've turned into a Airbnb type situation. But
I like it.
I like to book some nice places, some cheap places, and everything in between, and sample some different stuff. Because I think just going 3-star hotels everywhere is boring. So
and you want somewhere with a bit of charm.
Yeah.
Even if it's a bit rough and ready, just give me charm.
Yeah, and just don't book it for too many days.
Yeah.
2 nights will be absolutely fine on this couch bed thing, transformer.
And so following Chamonix, we're then going to be heading into our beloved Italy.
Mamma mia!
Now, we did have some ambition to actually gondola into Italy.
Yes!
Sounds very extra.
Yes.
But apparently you can't do that in winter.
No, they closed a section of it off, but you can actually gondola from France to Italy. We're like, well, that sounds fabulous. We're doing that.
Sounds crazy. Bucket list stuff.
Instead, we are going to go through a massive tunnel through the mountains in a bus.
Yeah.
Amazingly, you can take a bus from Chamonix in France to Milan or Milano in Italy in just about 3 hours.
This is so cool. So that will also be a very scenic drive. Even though it's on a bus, that's not the most comfortable way to travel necessarily, but I think we'll love it.
You can do it via train, but if you do it via train, you've got to go back to one of those other cities and go around the mountain. It will take a lot longer.
Yeah.
So we're going to go by bus.
And so we've been to Milan before, so we
Yes.
travelled a few years ago to Italy.
Yes.
And I mean, I absolutely fell in love with it, to be honest. It's not on everyone's list to go to when you go to Italy, right? There are some places that, like Rome, everyone's going to go to Rome.
Everyone's gonna go to Rome.
Venice, you have to check out because it's a geographic marvel. Milan sometimes doesn't get the love that I think it deserves. I think it's just a really cool, livable city. It's very green in lots of ways, lots of rooftop gardens.
It is.
And it's a beautiful combination of new and old. So there are some really old buildings, Gothic architecture, and then there's also ultra modern kind of office buildings and that sort of thing. But it's a really pretty city.
Some very interesting old and new architecture because they've got this some city planning in place where if you build a building, you have to have green space, you have to build planters into the high rises, and so there's amazing kind of living buildings being built there. I love architecture, so I'll enjoy that. It's the financial capital of Italy.
And I think it's also the fashion capital.
Yeah, there's lots of glitz and glamour and money to be spent there. We're just going to we've booked an apartment, so somewhere we can just sort of chill out for a little while and
do some cooking, hopefully.
We'll cook some food, and I'll find some a nice food market and see what I can find and see what we can cook in our little apartment. It'll be very cute.
Right, yeah. So for New Year's Eve, we're going to be going up to Lake Como.
Very fancy.
So we're hoping there'll be a nice fireworks display and, a bit of an atmosphere.
Yeah.
We're staying in a town called Bellagio. So we'll probably arrive in Verona via train, which is also really cute. There's some lovely gardens there, which we'll try and show you. And then we'll ferry to Bellagio. Again, just sounds so extra. We'll just ferry all around the place. It's super easy. There are really regular ferries. And Bellagio just has this old worldy charm.
It has a charm. We've been to Bellagio as well before. So some of this is reliving our Italy trip, which we loved. It was sort of the highlight of our life at the time. It was maybe 2017. It was the first big overseas trip we ever did.
Yeah.
So some of those, we're doing some of the same things and we're doing some different things as well. And we won't always be making videos of these super high dollar locations. But in this case, we have been locked in for over 2 years. We've been working really hard at our quite stressful jobs. We've saved up some money and we feel like we deserve a treat. So this is not a budget-orientated holiday, but it's going to be a really fun one.
Do we sound defensive? Okay, so New Year's Eve at Lake Como.
Yes.
We failed to find George Clooney's house last time.
So we will find it this time.
We will. We'll camp out. And then from Lake Como, we're then going to be training to Verona.
Yeah.
Never been to Verona.
Never been to Verona.
But Shakespeare, Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. I'm really committed to making it not about Shakespeare and Romeo and Juliet, but let Logan do his thing.
Absolutely. From what I know about Juliet's house, I do feel like it's a wee bit of a tourist trap, a wee bit overrated.
Right when there's like this big like Colosseum right there.
Open air arena.
All the most amazing white wine region of Italy is all nearby. Lugano and Suave Classico and...
Lake Garda's right there.
Lake Garda's right there. Now that's where Blanco was born, so we can find his house as well. We're gonna be arrested.
Cool.
In all seriousness, though, we're not going to be stalking any celebrities.
Well, not that we know of at the moment, but we'll if the opportunity arises.
So, from Verona, we're going to train to Florence. We're not actually going to really stay in Florence or see much of Florence. We've seen Florence before. We loved it.
So nice.
We didn't see Statue of David, and I feel like that was a huge mistake. We should have. The lines were long, and it was in a more touristy time.
It was quite a hot day.
We just thought, I'm not waiting in that line up. We've seen lots of cool things today. But it's the one thing that's been stuck in my head, thinking, I gave up the opportunity to see what is probably the most amazing marble statue that exists. Yeah. So we're going to see that. We're going to have some lunch, and then we're going to train on through to La Spezia. La Spezia? Mm-hmm. La Spezia. I apologise to any Italians watching this. We're going to absolutely butcher these names, but...
They've thrown the gelato at the screen already.
Mamma mia!
And that is the jumping off point to get to the Cinque Terre, which is a collection of 5 villages on the Italian Riviera on the coast. They're really cute.
Yeah, we've been there before as well. We literally have booked the exact same apartment we stayed in.
Nostalgia. It's powerful.
Yeah, it's a converted wine cellar that's been turned into a small, like, tiny home type apartment. And it's the coolest place we've ever stayed.
Yeah.
There's like a rain shower that is literally carved into these stone walls because it's sort of embedded in a cliff. And there's a cool kitchen. Yeah, it's really lovely. And really cheap too, like $110 a night or something. Yeah.
But this time when we're going, it's going to be off-peak. And because it's the heart of winter, we're not expecting there to be too many people around.
No.
And what's really cool about these villages is that you can actually walk between them.
Yeah.
And you get the most amazing elevated views of the coast. Yeah, I think it's going to be really neat.
It will be quite atmospheric, I think, because it's not a winter location at all. Yet some restaurants stay open, and I think we might get some strange weather, and I think we'll just see a real different side to it. We won't be there to be swimming and fishing and driving around boats. We'll be there just to listen to the rain and the winds and cook some food and
read a book.
And
listen to some music.
Edit some videos. So from there, we're going to go train through to Pisa. Pisa we skipped last time. We actually trained right through, and we were just a bit too cool for school, so we didn't go to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Cause
we're not Pisa haters, don't get us wrong, but we were just like, oh, we're doing all this other cool stuff.
Who cares?
Maybe next time.
So yeah, next time has come, so we figure we may as well go there. We also are picking up a rental car, and we can't pick it up from La Spezia, so we have to go somewhere else to get that rental car.
And what kind of car are we picking up again?
A Fiat 500.
Yeah, classic Italian experience.
Oh, we're going to look so stupid in it. Logan's going to be too long and hardly fit in.
Yeah, I'm a string bean.
Yeah, and then we're going to go tiki touring around Tuscany. So we'll end up in Monticello, which is a little hilltop town where we're staying in some ancient, decrepit hotel.
I think it's actually a bed and breakfast.
Bed and breakfast. It's going to be really cool. Really different experience. And on the way, we're going to see a little bit of everything and anything we can find.
We're stopping in at Siena, for instance.
Yeah. It's not super itemized. We're going to follow our eyes and our noses and hopefully have some beautiful wine and food.
There are some thermal baths.
Yeah, I want to go to the thermal baths. That'll be really cool. Yeah, and from there we're going to make our way to Rome, where we've been before.
Love Rome.
We loved Rome. Rome was the place that I felt like I could live there.
It's a city with such energy and vibrance. I've heard that Naples is very similar, but yeah, Rome is just a punch in the face of Italian culture. It's wonderful, and some great jazz bars, history everywhere you turn, and it's really walkable as well. You can walk between the Trevi Fountain and the Spanish Steps and the Colosseum and the Forum. It feels really compact to me.
Yeah, you can get everywhere on foot. It's got a nice ratio of some fancy things, some affordable things. It feels like lots of people live there, and it doesn't feel like a tourist destination. And it's not quite as fancy and as glamorous as Milan, where you always feel slightly out of place.
And underdressed.
In the same Kathmandu puffer jacket that I've been wearing for years. You know, you kind of just feel like a little bit of an idiot in Milan, whereas I think in Rome, no one will notice at all.
I mean, there's definitely the ultra-rich, right? There is that aspect of Roman life, but there's everything else in between.
There's everything else in between. I loved it. I think the best food we had was in Rome. Our sort of host that we stayed with recommended a place that the locals went, and in there it was incredible food. It was quite affordable. Wine came out in like 500 mils or like 1 litre jugs of the stuff.
Great.
And when they say house wine, they're not talking about... In New Zealand, house wine means the crappiest wine we can find, and it'll be the cheapest item. In Italy, when they say the house wine, they mean my friend has a vineyard and I have a I have a whole barrel of it out back, and we'll pour you the good stuff. The house recommends this. We recommend this, and it took us a while to realize that. And then once that clicked, we were like, order the house wine,
and it never disappointed us.
Never disappoints.
No, it's always a safe bet.
It's always affordable and delicious. So that's one of those cultural things that you learn about. In New Zealand, it means a complete different thing. If you're from overseas and you're going to come to New Zealand, never order the house wine. We're ripping you off.
Hey, I am a defendant of Fatbird. Fatbird is great.
$9 a bottle.
Can't beat it.
Can't beat it.
Right. Now, the other slightly out of the box thing that we're doing is we're actually seeing an Italian opera, but not one of the classics.
Oh, not at all.
Not one of the old trustees, but actually a new one on the scene, which is called Casanova Opera Pop.
Yes.
And I don't know, it looks like a great time.
It looks great.
Obviously, it's all about Casanova's life, his various love affairs and political intrigue and blah, 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 blah. But the music sounds banging.
The music sounds banging, and it's cool to see modern productions as well. I feel like people get into opera or theatre, and then they put all the old stuff on a real pedestal. A lot of that stuff's existed for a reason. It is amazing, don't get me wrong. But I'm like in my 30s, early 30s. I want to support the young creators and the people who are doing interesting stuff now, because the next classic might be showing for the first time tomorrow. And we've got to support the arts, the local arts, what's happening in Rome. This is where it's happening, so I want to support them.
And for any opera purists out there, we will also make sure we go and get a proper opera education, see things like La Vie Bohème and all those ones too. Yeah. But we just thought this sounds super fun.
Yep.
The music sounds great.
We're going to be staying. Where are we staying?
Trastevere, which is a great nightlife district. Again, so many great restaurants, bars, paved streets.
Last time we were in Rome, it was only on our last night that we visited that bars district, and we thought, wow, that was really fun. And I just remember thinking, I don't want to go home tomorrow. I don't want to go home. So this time we're staying the whole time, all 5 days in that area, in an apartment. So we should get a really good feel for the place. Yeah. Oh, we're also going to Naples.
Oh, yes, we are. Yeah, so day trip to Naples. We're going to check out the ruins of Pompeii.
Yep.
I think you must do that at some stage.
Yeah, we're just going to hop on a train or a bus or however it works and just leave for the day. Just do a day trip. And yeah, I'm really interested to see the chaos of Naples and the streets and the high density and the
birthplace of the margarita pizza.
Yum.
Vesuvius will be imposing on the horizon.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
So that's our exciting trip. I hope you subscribe to this channel and follow us on this journey. We're going to aim to release a video every single week. And we're going to vlog this whole experience so we can share that with you and also share it with ourselves and have the memories from our great trip.
Cool. See you soon.
See ya.